Randy and Connie. Randy, my friend, old friend. I'm going to try something different today. I'm excited to see you guys next week. In a plane next Thursday. I'll be at your place next Friday, April 6th. Happy birthday to Connie today. Today's March 30th. And an early happy birthday to you, Randy. But anyway, thought I'd try something different. I'm here on the road. I thought I'd take a spin up to Newaygo. I live about 50 miles. I'm on the southeast side of Grand Rapids, so I live about 50 miles south of Newaygo, but I get up here quite a bit. My family's still up here. And I thought maybe what I'd do is I would just come up to Newaygo and show you some things and maybe stir some memories. So, show you some surprises, some things around Newaygo. It's changed quite a bit, obviously, after 48 years. I'm going to flip this here to see how it looks if I just stay in my car. It's a little chilly out today, but anyway, I'm going to switch this over. Okay, so I'm on, it's called M37. I'm about 3/4 of a mile south of Newaygo, and thought I'd just give this a try to see what things look like. I'll do a little walking around when we get into town. I just want to see what it looks like from here because it is kind of chilly out today. It's 40 degrees, but it's sunny out. And we're going to go by some improvements, some things that have changed. A lot of this has changed. A lot of the stuff that you're seeing on the roadsides. And there's not much here, small town, but back in 1970, there's a lot that wasn't here. That Speedway station used to be a little white Crystal Flash building right there. And so some of these other buildings weren't even here. And I'm coming to a light. And this light, this intersection is M37, M82. It didn't even exist. There was no light here. And everything that I'm going to drive by right now, and I'm just going to pan the video, everything to my right that you're seeing, none of that existed. That was woods. That was all woods here. That's all been developed now, but that was woods when we lived here. And there was a little two-track, used to be called State Street, the end of State Street, there. Yeah, we even have a McDonald's. None of this was here. None of this was here. Up here on the left, there's a Goodwill store next to Taco Bell, Goodwill. And Randy, I don't know if you remember, there used to be these log cabins. Log cabins were right there. And outside of the cabin there was like booths. And so anyway, a lot of this was not here. This party store might have been here. Here's something coming up that was here. This is a police post, but it's been kind of deactivated, not used very much anymore. And so I'm just going to go through town once. This credit union, that used to be an A&W root beer stand. My house is in back there. So, you might remember this hill. That hasn't changed, obviously. And this may bring back some memories as we come down the hill and into town. Bill Corbin used to live there. And in the background, up there, Holly Carpenter's house, that used to be, looked like they added on to it since. We'll hit all those places. To the left, a place called Sand Mold System, but when you lived here, they called it Newaygo Engineering. Same building, same type of business, just got bought out by a different company. Now we're on the bottom of the hill. The old railroad depot is gone. That left about the 1990s, somewhere in there. It used to be right there. The funeral home is still there. That was new back then. So now we're, some of this may look familiar to you. This is downtown Newaygo. It's about all there was, actually, when we lived here. There wasn't much up on the hill. And, but some of this hasn't changed. This may bring back some memories. another light up here. When we lived in Newaygo, back when we were growing up, Randy, this was a blinker light. We didn't have lights in Newaygo. Now they got traffic lights. So I think what I'll do is we'll just take a spin through town once, and then I'll walk around and show you some places. So this is right there's the park. Straight ahead is the city park for Newaygo. That's the Newaygo Community Building. The city offices now is straight ahead there. And that's what was the park. It still is the park. City of Newaygo. That Marathon station to my left, that used to be a Texaco station my uncle owned. This ice cream place is still here. It used to be called Larry's Drive-In when we were kids. This hasn't changed. Here's the bridge. Still got to go across the river. And this is the bridge. And at this light, it used to be you had to stop. You had to turn left or right. The highway didn't go through. I'm going to stop here so I got time to talk about it. You may remember what you're looking at straight ahead is highway. That didn't exist. You see the hill on that side and the hill? Well, the hill used to be right where the highway goes through, and it didn't exist. And in the late 80s, early 90s, they punched through this hill to have the highway go straight so that traffic flow didn't get backed up and things flowed properly. So yeah, this didn't even exist back in the day. I'm going to go through this, and so this part here we would never seen because this was all hill, all undeveloped property. You had to go out and around. And I'm going to go up one more street. We used to have to take a left if you wanted to go north. You had to take a left there at that light because there was a hill, and that would take you to Evergreen Drive, which is what this becomes right here. And I'm turning, this is where Evergreen, this is part of the highway that's no longer used now. It's just a side street now, but this used to be part of M37. This is what this part. Now I'm going to head back into town. This is what, if you were coming from White Cloud from north into Newaygo back when we were kids, people would be driving on this stretch right here to come into Newaygo because the highway didn't go through. So I don't know if this may or may not do anything for you, but this is how you used to have to come into town. See, there's a city limit sign, and made a few modifications here to accommodate things. I've just turned. I went north and then went across the bridge, and then I turned around, and now I'm coming back into town from the north, out of the north. And this is how you would have come into Newaygo back when we were living in here as kids. Didn't have this stop sign. It didn't flow like that, I don't believe, from what I remember. They did something different. It's been so long now, I don't remember. We'll give you one more view here. There we're back to that intersection again. And we're going to go over the Muskegon River. There's the bridge. It goes over the river. Sure, what I'm probably doing isn't the right thing to do, but legal thing to do, but it's the right thing to do for me, for you. And then if you look, I'm just going to pan over that railroad bridge is over the river. We used to jump off that as kids. I don't know if you ever got into that, Randy, but we used to jump off the railroad bridge. All right, now I'm coming back up here. I'm going to go back into town. Now, if you look as I'm coming up to this intersection here in town, on top of the hill is the old school. Now, they just remodeled that. In fact, they are in the process. It doesn't look like it used to. We're going to go up there. But that up there is the school that we attended. That was our junior high school. And they have torn it down. They had a big thing in the community. People didn't want it torn down, but it was 90 years old. There's the old Baptist church on the right. It's a different church now. They didn't want it torn down, but they prevailed. Times change, and they tore it down. So here we're going up Quarterline Avenue. Quarterline, you may remember this. So they tore it down and they've remodeled it, and it's a new place. Okay, so here's Quarterline Avenue. That water tower did not exist there straight ahead. That was not there. It was in another place. This house here on the left is where Debbie Myers lived. It used to be a white house, and her parents they sold it and they built a retirement home back there. That's a retirement home. This house on the right, I lived there for 12 years. In the 90s to early 2000s. So this now is what we call Barton Street. It's wider. They made it wider from when we were growing up, and they we didn't have sidewalks really. If you remember, maybe you don't, but we didn't have sidewalks, and now they've got sidewalks. So I'll just keep this running for a little bit more here, then I'll stop and just show you different things. I won't spend time with the high school. The high school's on the left here. I'll do a real quick shot of it. But we didn't go to school there. Well, you and I didn't. I did later, but you didn't. It's a high school back there. This is Barton Street, and one of the main drags on the street. This is State Street, and coming up here, well, I'm going to stop, I think, for a minute here. My house, the house I grew up in, is right here. It's right straight ahead. It used to be a yellow house, and the yard was, but that's where I grew up. That's where I grew up. And there used to be a root beer stand here. This used to be an A&W root beer stand, and now it's a credit union. That root beer stand was just torn down just only recently in the last 2 years. Last 2 years. Okay, I'm going to stop for right now. I'll get back to you in a minute. this is across the highway from the A&W. On the other side, you might remember, this is Brook Street, and this is the Catholic Church. So that's been a mainstay here. They then put, in the 80s, some apartments in here. Autumn Grove Apartments. There's the Catholic Church. Today's Good Friday, so they've got mass services going on. And here, right up ahead, was an old buffing shop, but in the early 2000s, I planted a church here. And we remodeled, new community church. And we remodeled the church. And so there it is. We remodeled the buffing shop and made it a church. So this is new community church. And I pastored here for 8.5 years. Didn't come out too bad. All right, so now I'm going to turn around. And we'll keep touring here a little bit. Now I'm going to go back out toward the highway where the A&W used to be. That Little Caesars across the highway on the left, see it? Little Caesars. That was a house. Those were my neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Opple, Paul Opple. They lived there. That was a house. That fence didn't exist. That was a house and a side yard, and I had put a baseball through their window one time. Okay, there's my old house again. This is State Street. State Street. I think we'll just take a spin around here. This house here, my cousin lives here now, but that was where Star King lived. Star King grew up there. We were neighbors. And here was where Bruce and Brian Hall lived. This is State Street. This is like going downtown, walking down to the hill, and right here, this used to be Holly Carpenter's house. I'm just going to turn in here and turn around. This was Holly and Kim and Fawn lived here, and I don't remember what year they sold and all that. It's been quite a while. That's where the Carpenters lived. Didn't look like that back then. They really added on to the garage and added on to the house and made it larger. All right. Coming back. Again, I'm still on State Street. Now, when we lived here, this is Brook Street now. I'm turning left on Brooks. This was a dirt road. And no sidewalks. This was a dirt road and no sidewalks. People have built houses in here. This is all open field when we were here. My sister and brother-in-law built this house. They live there. My sister Holly lives right there. Nice home with open field when we were kids. Here's my home church, Grace Bible Church. And this was all dirt road, and we would walk past this. You would walk, well, we went to church here, and sometimes I was there and sometimes not. This was a dirt road. And up here on the right used to be, there's a retirement community here now, but this used to be all pine trees, and it was called Pine Grove. Pine Grove. And we would come down here and there used to be a water tower here on the left. And I'm not sure what year they took out the water tower. There used to be a water tower here on the left. And we would come down here, and this guardrail wasn't here. Okay, now I'm gonna stop for a minute. This used to be a street that went through. We called it the gully. It's Park Street. And the idea was, right here, you could walk through. The street went down and up to the other side, and that's how you get to your house. I'm probably not very far from where you used to live. But in 1973, we had something happen. I don't remember, and the river, that's Brooks Creek that runs through there, it washed it out. So it's all gone. It washed out the street, and now this is just woods, and you can't drive through there. I don't even know if you can walk through there anymore. It doesn't look like it. Used to be a drain pipe that went across it. Us kids would walk across the drain pipe. So this used to be a street. This used to be a street right here. And there's absolutely nothing there anymore. Nothing. You can't even get across it. It doesn't look like from here. Alright? So that's all I'm going to show you there. Alright, we're back in the car. So that used to be Park Street, or called the Gully, that went down and over Brooks Creek and up to the school and that neighborhood over there. Now you can't get through, okay? And that, like I said, that happened in 1973. I think this is where Ken Bell, the Bell family, has lived and still lives. I think Ken's still there. All right. This little house here, my son Jamie lived for a while. They're in the process of cleaning it up. They just built a place on the east side. Looks like they're moving stuff out and getting it ready to sell this place. 46 Barton Street. Probably would get a good deal on it. I don't know. Alright, so anyway, here's Barton Street. And if you were not taking the gully, which I just showed you, and you wanted to get to the schools in that neighborhood where you used to live, this is where you would go. And we would turn left here. And this is Scott Street. Now I'm coming up to Washington Street. I think Bill Berry used to live here at one point. Just keep coming along here. Now I'm going to pull up here. And let me just kind of stop this. I'll keep it going here. Oop. So, just wondering if maybe you recognize this house. 39 Washington Street. I'll give you a minute here to take a look. Does this look familiar to you? Yeah? If you said that's where we used to live, that's exactly right. This is where you used to live. And I don't know these people, so I probably shouldn't walk back here very far. There's a drive. I'm not even sure this was paved. This might have been gravel. But I remember this is where you guys lived. I can't go in, I don't know the people, so I feel a little uncomfortable doing that. But anyway, I just wanted to show you this. This is the old Ruggles place. Wow. And yep, this is where you lived. And at this yield sign, we'll take a right, and that's how you got over to the school, because the school is just over on the other side. So that's what we'll do. We'll maybe I'll just stop this for a minute. Alright, so there it is. 39 Washington. I guess a family, on the mailbox it says the Daniels. 39 Washington Street. There's where you guys used to live, and I remember coming over here all during that time. And if you went around like this, maybe you'd remember walking to school. Maybe you cut through the neighbor's yard, I don't know. If you cut through there or not. The back probably didn't. Now, this is really, really different, because the street used to go all the way through, and now the school has just remodeled. I'll pull across here, and they made this a parking lot, and they own both sides of the street. I mean, there used to be a house front over right where this parking lot is. This is all different, all owned by the school. And they've totally, as you can see, they're still working on it. Still trying to get it ready for next year, I think. They've got it all phased in different phases. Yeah, it's really different. I'll go around over to the other side where the street stops at that fence line over there. Well, progress, right? That's how things change. So over here, if you remember, it was an elementary school, Vera Wilsey Elementary, and they're going to use it for a while. This will be torn down, from what I understand, on the building. I don't think anybody wants this building anymore. So once they've got everything done over in that building I just showed you, the elementary grades will be over there, and this will now be closed. But this used to be the it is currently the Vera Wilsey. It's where I went to school growing up. And here is, I think it's Main Street. It's all construction. I don't even know if I can drive through here. Maybe I can. I don't think I should. I'm going to park this, and I know I can walk up there. I don't think that'll be a problem. Okay. Okay, so this is the remodeled school. Like I said, the road used to go through here, doesn't anymore. Let's walk around, and you'll see some things will probably be familiar. I'm walking to the back. This would be where the terraces were. You remember the terraces that went downtown? And there used to be a steps that cut through the middle. And that's probably been all removed. So this is interesting how they've got this. Yeah, they did away with them. There's this fence line now, and you can see there used to be steps in the middle of this, but they fenced it off. There's downtown. That looks familiar probably. But you used to be able to go right down here in the middle. And you might remember there were steps right here in the middle of the terrace. And there's another fence. But that other fence was another hill. And we used to sled. We used to get on our sleds and toboggans and whatever and slide down the hill into that parking lot down there. There wasn't really a parking lot like there is now. That's a nice parking lot. They didn't have it back in the day. Oh, hang on. I wasn't supposed to be in there. So I had to stop, and now we'll go back around. Let's see. Yeah, I can't remember who used to live there. One of our classmates, schoolmates, used to live there. I don't remember who. Anyway, there's the Vera Wilsey. In the 80s, they built this playground. I think it was the late 80s they put that playground in. Really nice. Hard to believe it's all going to be gone. I hope they do some stuff creative with it. Creatively with it. Okay, so this is, here we are. What they did was, in the mid-70s, they added on this building here. They added on an upper elementary wing with a gymnasium, nice gymnasium, not like the one we had, and they put that there. There it is, named after Mrs. Matson. Remember Mrs. Matson, our principal? Velma Matson Upper Elementary School. They added that. That was in the mid to late 70s and 80s maybe. Botsfords used to live there. I worked with the Botsford for the city of Newaygo in 1977. Used to live there. That wasn't there back in the day, that house there. Abel's Body Shop. Alright, I'm running out of space on my phone for this video. So this is coming down Quarter Line, coming downtown Newaygo. You might have, this is probably a view that you would remember. And I'm going to stop right here recording, and I'll get back. Another look from the school from downtown. Those steps we would have come down. They didn't look like that back then. They were, you can see underneath those there are concrete steps, and then they built those that wooden frame structure over the top. Okay. There's the park. Straight ahead, the community building. They put an amphitheater in there. So that's pretty cool. And then here on the intersection, the movie theater. Remember, this used to be called the, oh my goodness, I've forgotten now. I'm having a senior moment. But our movie theater, the Valley Inn. The Valley Inn was here. This was a white building. Valley Inn was here. You had a restaurant that was here. I don't remember the name of the restaurant. The Fire Pit, which was a bar, you'd go in and go downstairs. That burned down in about 1992 or 1993. Sam Shepard's boy, Matt, just like his grandfather, Russ, is a successful attorney here in the area. Has offices here in Newaygo and Whitehall. They're Shepard and Shepard attorneys at law. Both Matt Shepard, Sam's oldest, and John, his youngest. That's their office right there. What used to be Bentley Pharmacy is now Newaygo. It's a microbrewery, Newaygo Brewery. And then what used to be the V store was the Ben Franklin store. That closed in 2002. And Greg Slemensky, who inherited his father-in-law's business, Powers Men's clothing store, got with the times, changed, came across the street, and has a very successful 37 North outdoor clothing gear type place, doing very, very well, and has organized and brought a lot of business to this town. Has organized canoe races, I believe. I want to say that. Kayak races, maybe? But that's very, very good. Good job, Greg. Reinvented himself and has done well. Sportsman's Bar, still here. Lemire's Drugstore. See that antique mall building? That used to be Lemire's Drugstore. You go in there and Mr. Lemire would say, shave or a haircut? So that is still the same. Barbershop is still here. Different owner here. Vaughn's Barbershop. The newsstand. See that new yarn shopping? That used to be the newsstand right there. Yep. One of my favorite places, River Stop Cafe, a great coffee shop. And I think Trunk's Hardware used to be where that Studio 37 is, and that Fast Cash building used to be McGee's drugstore. And Jansma Eye Care used to be Bio's restaurant. So there's probably more I could share, but I don't have a lot of space on my phone. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I think I'm going to get back in the car and head back home. And but I just wanted you to kind of see downtown Newaygo in 2018, 48 years after you left. It's changed quite a bit. Some things, these buildings are the same building. That building's the same building. That building's been remodeled. So, and they've done sidewalks are all added new, and they put those City of Newaygo, River Stop Landing. Everything here is River Stop. I don't know why they just call it downtown Newaygo. They call it River Stop. I think they've lost their identity a little bit. Thankful for the Newaygo signs and Newaygo Brewing Company. That's good. Glad that didn't become River Stop Brewing or River Valley Brewing. So anyway, oh yeah, so they took out the where the Grand Hotel, where the Valley Inn used to be. That had burnt down in 1993, and nothing was there for many, many years. And then just recently, they put this building in called the Stream, and it encourages business people to come in and use that, and a lot of business people are doing that now. Looks like a home furniture place has come in, so that's pretty cool. This used to be a supermarket. Then for years, the Baptist Church used it for their Awana building, and they've moved outside of town, and now it's the Newaygo County Museum. Pretty cool. All right, there's one more image of the park. one more image of the park for you to see. One more shot of downtown. And one more time with the school in the backdrop. Yep, Connie, this is where your hubby used to be 48 years ago. Wow. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this little walk through, and look forward to seeing you guys in 1 week from today. See ya. Bye.